Hello, everyone. Hello. The Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games will be held in 2020, and the long-awaited Rugby World Cup will be held from September 2019 finally. Minato City is deeply involved in rugby, and there's quite a lot of community sports activities related to rugby. In our program, Hi from the Mayor of Minato City this time, we would like to introduce you to the various approaches and people in Minato City who are involved in various activities related to Rugby World Cup 2019. Also an interview with a former rugby player who have represented Japan and who is active here in Minato City. Yes, I am looking forward to hearing about their passion towards rugby. I think we will be able to hear a lot of interesting stories that will make the residents of Minato City feel even closer to rugby. So, let's go visit them. The Rugby World Cup is said to be one of the world's three major sports events, in line with Summer Olympics and the Soccer World Cup. The Rugby World Cup 2019, which will be held from September 20th until November 2nd, 2019, is going to be held in 12 cities all over Japan, with 48 games scheduled to compete with 20 teams to determine the world's best rugby team. Minato City and rugby have a long history going back to 1899, when an English professor at Keio University taught rugby to the students in a field in Izabu 1-chome in Minato City. In addition, one of the stadiums representing Japan, the Chichibunomiya Rugby Stadium, is located in Kita Aoyama, Minato City. Furthermore, the Japan Rugby Football Union is located in the complex of the Chichibunomiya Rugby Stadium. From this relationship, Minato City and the Japan Rugby Football Union concluded a basic agreement titled The Cooperation for the Purpose of Development of Education and Regional Development in 2009, and has been working together on the development of regional sports and health education through rugby. We are having guests who are engaged in various activities within Minato City going ahead to the Rugby World Cup 2019 today. Thank you for coming. Mr. Kumaki, you are the Rugby Service Director of the Rugby World Cup 2019 Organizing Committee. Could you please tell us about the activities and what kind of relationship the Organizing Committee and Minato City has? Tokyo, which is the host city, will be holding the opening games as well as many other games. And especially there are many companies and university rugby games held at the Chichibunomiya Rugby Stadium, which is known as the Holy Land of Rugby. We, as the organizing committee led by the Japan Rugby Football Union, are taking various actions mainly at the Chichibunomiya Rugby Stadium to build momentum for the World Cup and also to increase awareness of rugby. Mr. Tomioka, you're a member of the Japan Rugby Football Union and also a former national team member. You're currently in activities in creating public awareness of rugby, so could you tell us about your activities? I am normally active mainly in a tag rugby event called Fives, which can be enjoyed by adults as well. The World Fives derives from a 5-player rugby team, and it was my idea to name it Fives. The reason I decided on tag rugby is because Japan Rugby Football Union is trying to increase awareness of tag rugby in Japan, and I thought that I could create a fun program with Fives. I want to spread rugby in order to make more people involved by conducting Fives mainly in Minato City.
おります。
Mayor, don't you think it's encouraging? I understand that we can experience adults casual rugby fives in Minato City in 2018. I think that if we can make rugby compact and call out for participation of people to come to the futsal courts or commercial facilities, then we can appeal the charm of rugby to everyone. That sounds like fun. Can I also participate? Of course. Even beginners can participate. It was very informative, and to hear the various activities spreading rugby the two of you are engaged in. Please continue the good work. Mr. Kodaka and Mr. Hashiba, both of you are active as executive committee members for the Minato City Tag Rugby class led by the city. Can you tell us about the class that you're holding? This year marks the 9th year of this Tag Rugby class. Mr. Hashiba and I have been participating for 9 years and we're really enjoying it. Although participants are people who are living and working in Minato City, participants ranges from children 3 to 4 years old through adults, irrespective of gender. They're all enjoying rugby. The coaches are mainly members of the Japan Rugby Football Union, but we, as well as parents, also support them. We all work together to create an environment which all children who are participating can enjoy. Each class is 2 hours, and in the first half, we have the children play tag games or collect balls. First of all, we let children enjoy playing games. In the latter half, we have teams made up of upper elementary school grade and lower grades. The children are really committed, and we can see scenes of them rejoicing if they win and showing disappointment if they lose. The adults who are there to support the children play while the children are taking a break. They're running around and working hard even more than the children. It's a very amicable class, and that's how the day goes by. Your efforts have paid off, and you've been able to create a lot of excitement at tag rugby games and festivals, haven't you? Tag rugby is a word everyone knows. I think that a game that everyone can join and a sport that families can have fun will convey the appeal and fun of rugby. What do you think is appealing about rugby? It's a sport that you play with many people, so there are many rules and promises you have to make. People tend to imagine rugby to be a physical sport, from the tackles. However, there are many enjoyable sports like the tag rugby and fives I just introduced. So I would like everyone to enjoy the sport that is fun to watch and fun to play. It's a sport you play with 15 players, so from player 1 to 15 are all unique, and it's a sport that can be played at each position. A match up to 1 to 15 goes on consecutively, and so the powerful one becomes apparent in each situation. There is a position which you can't rely on others, and have to defend the position on your own and take full responsibility. That's the part of rugby where a trust-based relationship between players are born, which is strong compared to other sports. I started with tag rugby, but I didn't have any experience playing rugby. I participated in the class with my child, and I was fascinated with tag rugby more than my child. I have become acquainted with many people through tag rugby, and I've made many friends, even at this age. One more thing is that you can really have fun. We give chances for everyone to hold the ball and also to tag. It's attractive because all the children can become heroes. There's a lot of complicated rules, but anyone can start playing in the game, so as long as you remember to drop the ball in front and not to throw it in front. That's the fun of the game, and I want to still be active in it.
まだまだずっと元気でやってみたいなと思っております。
I can feel the passion towards rugby you have from everyone's words. I can really feel the passion towards rugby from all of you. The Japan Rugby Talk League is taking place, which is held every year at Chichibunomiya Rugby Stadium. Minato City holds the Minato City Day, which are games between companies which have their headquarters in Minato City, and invites many residents to games. Special events on that day, which are the stadium tour and the runway kids, in which the children can walk to the pitch together with the players, is a very popular event every year. I would like to continue to convey the charm of rugby by holding projects such as the Tag Rugby class at Minato City Day. And at last, the Rugby World Cup 2019 will be taking place next year. Please tell us about your future activities and goals. I feel that the World Cup, which will be held nationwide in Japan, will be challenging. We will surely receive support from the rugby fans because of the Rugby World Cup held in Japan and the Rugby Sevens. However, I think rugby could be viewed by various people. Above all, the mecca of rugby, the Chichibunomiya Rugby Stadium, is located in Minato City. And we have less than 1 year. So I would like to create excitement together with everyone towards the World Cup. I would like to have as many people as possible in Minato City to get to know the charm of rugby through events mainly with fives and create more rugby fans. I still feel that there are not enough opportunities to hear the word rugby or tag rugby, so I want to create more momentum. I myself got hooked on rugby through Tag Rugby, and so through the Tag Rugby activities, I would like to contribute by creating more opportunities from children to adults to gain awareness of the Rugby World Cup.
もっと知ってもらえるような機会作りにサポート一緒にできたらなというふうに考えています。
We have interleague games between the tag rugby classes once or twice a year. It made me want to hold these types of games 2 to 3 times annually, as I watch how serious the children are, so that they gain more knowledge about rugby. I want the parents of the children who didn't know so much about rugby to understand how interesting it is, and by doing so to create excitement and support towards the Rugby World Cup, which will be held next year. Minato City is also getting support through the connection we have with rugby and taking advantage of the geographical advantage of the mecca of rugby, Chichibunomiya. There are many people involved, so we'd like to convey the attractiveness of rugby together with everyone. The world's best players will show the best play here in Japan at the 2019 Rugby World Cup. We would like to do our utmost to transmit the attractiveness of rugby to the world by capturing on this important opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. We'd like to next interview Mr. Naoya Okubo, who is a former rugby national team member and is the general manager of Suntry Sun Goliath, a club team. Mr. Okubo, while you were active in rugby, you were a member of the Rugby Top League, Suntry Sun Goliath, as well as a member of the national team. What did you do when preparing for a game? It was the same for all games, but one was that I always wanted to enjoy the game. Minato City and Suntry Sun Goliath have many exchanges through many projects, don't we? We have a lot of exchange between the elementary schools of Minato City and the people of the community. But there is one event that I remember very well. There was an exchange program that was planned between the children of Kona Elementary School and the elementary children from Kozushima. The plan was that the exchange would take place by playing rugby, and so the players and staff of Sun Goliath visited the children. It was for a short time, but in the end, all the children seemed to get along very well and wanted to stay with us. That was an interesting experience. There was an educational sport event in March this year at the Akasaka Elementary School titled Experiencing Rugby Through English with Country Sun Goliath, where we had to be in touch with many people. Yes, first of all, we had a clinic to teach the children's rugby-related words and countries which have a strong rugby team. Simple words in English were taught, and we had the children interact with each other through the clinic. There are also games between teams from the Japan Top League, which have headquarters in Minato City, that takes place on Minato City Day, where many people come and are fascinated with the power clay. One thing which is important is that we want to show a good game to the people of the community who have gathered to come to watch us, since our company is located in Minato City. And one other point is that we want to be closer to the region and to develop rugby. I believe it's important to develop and spread rugby deeply rooted in the community, but also to be interactive with other regions in addition to Minato City. Rugby is becoming very popular thanks to efforts by the players and for those involved to rugby, as Mr. Okubo explained. We would like to cooperate to increase awareness through events and through original activities. It's said that the history of rugby in Japan changed during the Rugby World Cup in 2015. And the number of participants to the tag rugby classes exceeded over 400 people at that time. The children will be able to have dreams going forward, and we would like to support the fascination of rugby and the children with full efforts. Can you tell us what highlights will be and what we should be expecting at the Rugby World Cup 2019? As it says on the catch copy that it's once in a lifetime that the world's biggest event is coming up in Japan, and it means that it's a huge event. So I would like for everyone to know that they will get an opportunity to see the superstars playing live at the stadium. The Rugby World Cup 2019 is next year and will be coming soon. So we like to plan many rugby events together with the Japan Rugby Football Union and the various organizations and companies along with the residents of the city, and communicate the fascination of rugby so that all of Minato City can come together to create excitement for the 2019 Rugby World Cup. I look forward to your cooperation. Mr. Okubo, thank you very much. We interview various people within the city who are active going towards the Rugby World Cup 2019 and the former Japan national rugby team member. But how did you feel, Mayor Takei? Well, through the conversations with the people within Minato City who are active, we were able to see their passion and commitment in wanting to spread and create awareness of rugby. I was able to see the atmosphere of the rugby activities and understood that the national team members were very serious from the conversation of Mr. Okubo of the former rugby national team. It was very impressive. Minato City will continue to work on the development and health education of community sports through rugby in order to create momentum towards the Rugby World Cup 2019. With that, everyone, thank you very much and goodbye.